It's great, coach.
Obviously, talented team on the road facing these guys. Electric arms, deep bullpen, firepower offensively, older guys, freshmen, good balance. They've done a good job. They found a nice niche with the grad transfer piece and have acquired talent of all ages. They're really good. They're really deep. First rounder on the mound. First rounder on the mound Saturday. Probably when you look at where Johnson lands, dynamic offensively. They're really, really good. Their ops guy was with me at Notre Dame as one of our players, Danny Jones, so kind of a unique connection there. Cruson was committed to us at Notre Dame. Danny Jung is a really intelligent guy, and I'm glad he found his way there with Chris at Duke. So we have our work cut out. There's no way around it. I wish we were healthier. It is what it is. We're going to go lock horns.
Questions?
Link, you say, I guess you wish you were healthier. Are you going into the this weekend the same as last weekend? Is there optimism about maybe getting one of the three back?
Yeah, Ben Barrett should be back a little bit. Now we
Okay.
have to be smart about how we use him. The guy hadn't been on the mound in a while, and we were conservative with the buildup and the pins and the live stuff. And it seems like it's time for him to go give it a whirl. So that helps. Whitaker's moving along. Good news with Leiter. So we're trending, but just the overall care for the arm, and there's many organizations that are battling this at every level of the sport. I don't know what the answer is. In our guy's case, it's different stuff. So there's not really a pattern to it. It's different roles of the guys that are down right now. So the good news is it seems like everybody is trending back. Whitaker, Leiter, Barrett's ahead of them right now. But we've gotten some good news. And Dorsey answered for us last week and I think has settled into that starting role, which is probably what he's more accustomed to. But it does create a revolving door in the bullpen of guys that are out there a lot, and that's okay. I mean, Duke has guys with 19, 20, 19, 20, and 17 appearances out of the bullpen. So essentially every other game. I mean, we're not quite there, but we're close. So you have to lean on some pieces that do a good job for you. We've just had to dig down into that a little bit more often, because when you lose 12 to 15 innings out of your weekend rotation, that obviously has to be filled. And there's no AAA team to call up, talented younger guys and fill your staff. So you have what you have, and you hope they can adapt to more usage or a different role.
With Santucci on the mound, probably the second straight week that you guys are going to face a first rounder on Friday night. Just what do you see from him that you guys will have to deal with?
Well, take your pick. You've got a mid-90s fastball. The slider's good. He kind of adds and subtracts. Some of these are curveballs, some are sliders. Is he really throwing two different pitches? Probably. Some of the sliders, it seems like he adds and subtracts. The changeup to the righties is in play. It's just elite stuff. Now we're going to run some elite stuff at them too. So you're seeing two elite, really special left-handed arms to open this thing up. And then that's followed with two other ones. So you just have to try to disarm that fastball best you can, Brett, and hang in there. You're going to have two strike. I think 47% of our at-bats have gotten to two strikes this year, which is on the lower end of things, honestly. Usually 50 to 52 is probably standard. Some teams are up 55, 56% just with deeper counts. And when you get into those two strike counts against these types of arms, you're clearly vulnerable. It doesn't mean you just freely wail away, but when you get pitches, hitting them versus taking them, fouling them off, you better be on it. I mean, they've racked up over 450 punch outs now, and that's a lot. So we have our work cut out, man. It starts with disarming the fastball with him and hoping you can throttle down based on gauging 94 to 97 and then maybe ease down and try to hang in there on the secondary pitches. There's not a clear answer, but if the fastball's by you, like, and you're caught in between, it's clearly difficult.
Link, would you
Back-to-back road
the-
series for you, but also back-to-back weekends starting on a Friday. Can you just talk about the energy level for the team right now?
Well, I hope they're fired up right now. We're getting on that plane soon. We're going to try to have a good little practice. I owe them McFlurry, so we'll try to have a McDonald's stop and grab them the McFlurries that they won from me. That's always a good touch. Probably the Oreo, if I can get one for myself. They're fine. Like, we've given them some breathers to try to do some light lifts and recover. And guys are beat up this time of year. It's tough, and you're looking at exams and all the stuff piled on them. We had one of the better weeks of recruiting we've had here in the program. There's layers of recruiting now that you can't comprehend in our sport that you have to deal with. So Micah was in the Mid-Atlantic doing some stuff, and we're trying to navigate some of the other pieces of this. So that was good. So, as a staff, we like kind of the things that are moving. This doesn't end. Like, we have to deal with Duke. But if you're going to do this right, you're also looking at what happens to the roster next year and the draft and moving to continue to have a competitive team. So it's never ending for us. I think the guys are in good spirits down there. We'll meet here shortly, and then we'll get on the bus and go to the airport and practice. So they'll be fired up. They'll be fired up today. And the McFlurry's out a nice touch, little treat.
Link, would you include Jaime in the good news health department?
Yeah, he's just banged up. Like, he could have played the other day. Now, once we got into batting practice, it just seemed like giving him a day to recover was the way to go. But, like, this is not a significant, this is not really as much of an injury as it is playing through some pain. And as the days go by, that pain subsides for him. So we'll see tonight. And I don't even care if he practices tonight, to be honest with you. It's just him letting that hand that's been stepped on and beat up just recover a little bit. And he dealt with it at Wake and hit 3 balls 110 miles an hour. So we'll see. But he's doing okay.
Link, with Cam and Connor, with 4 weeks left in the regular season, obviously you can't throw them back out into what they were throwing before after kind of the downtime. How does that, it depends, obviously, I know, on how they respond and things like that, but from when they're able to get back, I guess, what's the timeline to hopefully get them to, is it 50 pitches or whatever it is you hope because you can't just throw them back into being full-time starters again?
Yeah, that's a good question. Like, how long does the buildup hold? Those guys were clearly built up to throw 100 pitches. So how long, like in the scientific side and the pitching side, how long does that buildup hold? Like with Ben, there's kind of a clear, like, maybe we can get him to 30 pitches. So once these guys have done their pens and some live work, then you're trying to go increments in maybe 25 or 30. You're not starting like you were on January 9th here because they're kind of in game shape still. So I think there might be an easier buildup than when you're starting from complete scratch. But the longer they're down, it does take a little longer to build back up. So we just have to assess that, like, as that time comes. But you're not going to go from where they are right now to running out there and throwing 90 pitches on a weekend start. It's just not. It'll probably be little stints, and then you try to build that back up, and hopefully they can give you some longer contributions once we get to the back end of this.
We're 40 games in, and Tibbs and Cam are still both hitting over 400. Just what does that say about their consistency on a day-to-day basis?
Well, you've seen the growth and watching these guys blossom into what they're becoming. It's been impressive. And there have been little streaks in there for both of them. But overall, like you said, the consistency of the at-bat and management of all the different arms, they're going to get pitched really tough. And we know that. the length of the lineup probably helps them a little bit so that it's not just the top of the lineup or the middle of the lineup or one guy in the lineup. It's a pretty good group, which I think helps them. And clearly, the better that lineup is, the more opportunities they get to drive in runs and hit with runners in scoring position and kind of have those sort of at-bats accumulate. But to think about where Cam was this time last year and like watching some of the at-bats now and the use of the field and him learning himself and learning the game, it's been fun, and those guys have positioned themselves well for their future with how they've grown, and they work really hard. Those guys are down there all the time. They know what to work on. They know when to work. They know when to back off. They've matured as players.
If I can ask here at the end, Link, what was the McFlurry bet? If you can share, what did they do?
Sometimes you're in the middle of these games and the tension is so high and you feel like they're trying so hard that I just kind of threw that out there in the middle of one of these games where I felt like just we needed something different to think about. And it's not the first time we've done it. Some of these are a little classified in what we do, but that one seemed like a fun one, and it was hot, and I like the McFlurries, and I just went with it. Just fun, just the middle of the game at Wake. It was actually at Wake Forest that first game. Coming off that loss, just the frustration of how that Friday game went, and then you're back in the dugout Saturday, and you're using a portalette behind the right field fence for 9 straight hours, and you eat 2 meals in the dugout, and there's not a place to wash your hands. Like, it's just sometimes you just need something to break the ice, and in that particular game, we went with the McFlurry. So Steven actually has found the McDonald's, and we'll roll in there maybe right after practice. I'm sure they'll have 40 McFlurries easily ready.
Anything else?
I can get in real quick. Or I can give you some follow-up. Go ahead, Kurt. Sorry.
No. You're good.
Link, I know you got bigger fish to fry this weekend ahead of you, but last weekend, somebody might have asked you this, but I wasn't on the call. But, last weekend being the spring football game, do you have is that on the calendar at all for you this offseason to kind of think about whether or not it's possible to ever hold a baseball home series on the same weekend that the football team decides to have a spring football game?
I would love to do it. Love to do it. Now, like, how you align that, I don't know. There's different teams in our conference now, and you're trying to formulate our conference grid, the schedule, based on the convenience of Miami to Pitt to South Bend, Indiana to Stanford and Cal, and it's not an easy grid to formulate. I don't know. Like, I will ask. It's a good question. I'm going to ask them, are there specific – sometimes you ask for specific things because of exams or like wanting to be at home for the first 4 weeks out of the gate if you can do it. But I haven't gotten far enough, and I don't know if football knows that far out, like to say we have to be at home. If I ask Mike and Bruce, like, when is the spring game going to be next spring? They may not know, but our schedule grid has been done for months and months. So maybe we get lucky, honestly. I haven't gone deep enough to try to make sure we can lock that in. And we had one schedule grid, and then it completely was blown up because you added 2 teams. And so here's another one. It's pretty complicated, but would it be cool? It would be so cool.
Anything else for Link?
Appreciate it, Link.
All right.
Yeah.
Wes, if you guys want to stay on, we'll keep this rolling for y'all.
Steven.